We are pleased to be joined now by the mayor of the city of Pontiac, Mayor Deirdre Waterman, with us once again on the Oakland County Megacast. Mayor Waterman, thank you for being with us today.
Hi, thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure.
We appreciate having you on. And since we've last spoken, how have you been? How's the city been doing?
A lot going on in the city. Of course, we are reopening different facilities in the city, subsequent to being closed from the emergency, and we are phasing in and never stopped our service to the cities of Pontiac, and there's a lot going on here. And we're happy to be here to tell you about some of the things that we can appreciate in Pontiac. We heard that the beaches are closed, as you just had that announcement. Can't go to the beach right now, but you can certainly come to Pontiac parks, which are open and functioning. In fact, we're planning a whole series of events in conjunction with the census that's going on. We decided to have what we're calling Census Friday night music in the park concert series, and we're going to have a variety of local bands each of the 4 Friday nights in August, and enjoy that at various of our parks, as well as one event in City Hall parking lot. So we're anxious to announce that to people, accomplishing both to increase our numbers for people to fill out the census, which is important for us in Pontiac, to get our fair share of the funding that comes from that, from being counted, and also just giving people a chance to enjoy getting out of the house a little bit and having these drive-in concerts that will also keep people safe, use all the social distancing, but let them hear a variety of very popular local bands and entertainment that will be family-worthy.
For those that don't understand the importance of this sentence, can you explain why they need to respond, and are your response numbers down because it's been hard to get out and try to go door to door to encourage people to fill out the census?
It is important, and we have been working on this for over a year. As you know, the census was late starting because of some of the questions relating to the citizenship question. So we're starting from behind, but Pontiac had been one of the cities that was, I think, maybe undercounted in the 2010 census. So we were determined to make a much better showing this year. It was important because the census is the head count that the federal government does once every 10 years, so you only have every 10 years to correct that. But it has head count of municipalities and townships and cities. That determines your share of federal funding for a lot of projects, as well as it also determines how districts are compacted, such as if we drop population in Michigan, particularly in this area, we could stand to lose one of our representatives to Congress. So that's important to keep up our representation, and that's why we've had a large census committee. I've got a large umbrella of people who realize the value of this census, and so we have a census committee that's been working on that now for, as I said, over a year, and we have a motto in Pontiac that everyone counts. And so we're passing out the messaging using all kinds of umbrella organizations, reaching out to every demographic, getting help from pastors to churches, every ethnic community that we can reach out to make sure that they know that we need them to have their voice in by getting their census form filled out. Very simple this year. 9 questions, takes about 5 minutes to do for most people. But we're also going to have some of these events where people can also have census workers who are there with our iPads in store so that they can hand them out to people and they can fill out the census forms if they have not already done so.
Mayor Deirdre Waterman from the city of Pontiac with us on the Oakland County Megacast. You talk about the effort to make every voice count in the city of Pontiac through the U.S. Census, but another way that they can make their voices be heard is, of course, through the upcoming elections, both the primary in August and the general election in November. And we've been talking about this with a number of different other mayors and local city clerks as well, municipal clerks, as well as we're approaching the August primary election, and as we're upcoming a few months down the road to the general election with the new no reason absentee voting rules in place and the regulation that those ballots need to be in to the local clerk by the time that polls close on the day of election. It brings up some issues of potentially people getting their absentee ballots in and be counted in these upcoming elections. Is there anything that the city of Pontiac is doing to make that a little bit easier for those absentee voters in the city to make sure that their votes can be submitted safely and securely, and that they can ensure that their votes get into the city clerk and are counted in this election without worry that they may be late.
Yes, very importantly so, because we want to make sure that there is a open election in which votes are counted securely. So we've done a lot of things. In fact, our clerk's office has announced extended hours. Those are posted now. And so people can get their, first it was the applications for absentee ballots, and those are coming in great numbers. I think the clerk's office was already overwhelmed with the number of responses they got for people who wanted to have that no questions asked absentee ballot proposal. And so we've hired extra people to be able to handle those applications so people can get their ballots processed in time. So this just saves everybody time, particularly in this area of social distancing and having to wait in lines. We wanted to avoid that, to have as many people as possible vote with this absentee ballot proposal that is out there now.
Mayor Waterman, there's a lot of other exciting things happening in the city of Pontiac now, and really includes, it really starts off with this new Amazon site that's gone up in the city of Pontiac. And from what I've heard from your staff, they are beginning to hire staff there as well. What is the city of Pontiac doing in partnership with that local Amazon site to bring those workers in the city of Pontiac that maybe have been out of work during the coronavirus pandemic potentially back into these great new jobs right in the heart of the city of Pontiac?
Right here, and Amazon, for those who don't know, is going up on what formerly was the Silverdome site. The Silverdome is gone. Amazon is going up, and they're going up, in some instances, 24/7 to get this facility constructed and ready for use and distribution of all those Amazon Prime deliveries that so many of us get at our doors on a regular basis. The first building is done, and that's the distribution station. And that will be open for truck deliveries starting August 1st of this year. So we did tour that with some of the district's leaders from that area. And of course, we are going to make sure that Amazon hears whatever needs to be done to remediate all the construction debris and dirt that's been going on. In fact, we will be having a town hall for that district people so that they can see that Amazon has done a great job of meeting their particular needs, as they've been under high construction over there for a while. So that's the first building. The second building, which is the fulfillment center, and many people don't know that to have both of those facilities on one site was the first time anywhere in the United States that Amazon has done this. Generally they've had to separate those two facilities. But the fulfillment center is the larger of the two buildings, and that won't be ready until August 1st of next year. And that's the one that is it's a model, a prototype model for how they're doing now, these fulfillment centers, and that's the first one right here in Pontiac. It's a huge structure. When you look at it, it's really imposing. It's the size of 44 football fields. And so it easily eclipses the size of the Silverdome, if you can imagine how big that is. But that's going to be the most high-tech version of fulfillment centers. It's highly mechanized and digitalized, to be able to make sure that all those orders that people have come in, get through the process that Amazon has set up, get delivered or however mailed out, and so people can get those packages and the things they want on their doorsteps within a day or two. So that's going to be a pivotal Midwest center right here in Pontiac. And as I said, we're already going to open one of the buildings August 1st, and the larger one next year this time. So people will get their holiday presents, potentially right here from starting in Pontiac.
So the downtown area was seeing a bit of a resurgence prior to COVID-19, and then the pandemic hit. So many of the businesses and restaurants had to shut down. What's being done to help them reopen, and do you think they're all going to survive? What's the future for the downtown of Pontiac?
So, yes, we're doing a lot of things to support them, of course. There are aliquots or pots of money that we wanted to make sure that our businesses were aware of. In fact, we've had a number of Zoom town halls aimed at the business community and the support that's available. In fact, we had one Wednesday. And that one, we updated people on what the latest pots of money that were available for our small businesses. And particularly, we announced something that I did as an executive order from my office as mayor, that a lot of the restaurants and eateries that now have reopened, but they have reopened with limited indoor seating capacities ordered by the governor. So what we're going to do, and particularly to take advantage of what's left of these summer months and early fall, is I issued an executive order so that restaurants and eateries can apply for a permit that they can get pretty quickly so that they can extend to outdoor seating. A lot of these businesses, restaurants and eateries have adjacent sidewalk or right-of-way space where they can set up a sidewalk cafe with tables and chairs pretty easily, or they in their parking lots or other right-of-ways that are available to them. So that's available to any restaurant and eatery in the city of Pontiac just by applying for the permit, and we are motivated and energized to do this with a quick turnaround. In fact, my planning department can turn those around in 24 hours so that for those who have been limited in their capacity for seating can now extend upon that and use the advantage of these nice summer days to be able to give people more sidewalk seating and thus help to restore their businesses. A lot of them, of course, were adversely affected by having to close down during COVID. Some of them were not able to or had the capacity to do the curbside delivery. So we wanted to support them in their efforts to reopen not only the restaurants and eateries, but all the other businesses. We distributed, for example, hundreds of opening toolkits to tell businesses how to reopen their businesses safely and securely with all the new rules that are involved there. We also have had, as I said, various town halls and have given out the information about where loans and grants are available to our small businesses. So these have been very well received as people are having trouble keeping up with all the latest. We're here to help and serve them, and I have an economic development team that is on go with their help desk for any businesses that have questions about that we can give them the resources, and as well, we hope we will be able to have more people enjoy some of the dining with and supporting our restaurants and eateries, particularly the ones that are downtown, but it applies to restaurants and eateries all over the city.
Mayor Waterman, as we're approaching the fall and the schools in the city of Pontiac are getting ready to reopen, is there any assistance that is being provided by the city to help these schools and to help these local families who are maybe concerned about what they're going to do if they have to have virtual learning and the parents are maybe going back into work, or other concerns that may be apparent for these schools going forward?
That's been quite an adaptation for our families, not only in Pontiac, but all over the country, all over the world for that matter. So our school district, and once again, the school district is autonomous from the mayor's office.
Right.
The school district, of course, is run by an elected board of trustees, as well as a superintendent they appoint. So the city of Pontiac, as mayor's office, I certainly support everything they're doing, everything we're doing as a city to keep people safe and to get out advisories and to determine how they can reopen facilities is certainly dealt with by the school district. Now, we are going to be partnering, I hope, with the school district and the other schools of choice because a number of them, as they have anticipated bringing children back in the fall, for example, our school district has announced that its preliminary plan is that they're just going to have children staggered days. So right now the plan is just to have children on site for 2 days and then have half the population then and the other half of the population of students for the subsequent 2 days. So that means that parents will still be doing at-home learning with the Chromebooks and the materials that they have for virtual learning. So that gives us an opportunity to work with our other partners. We have in Pontiac what is the Pontiac Youth Recreation and Enrichment Center. And so now we are working with a number of our partners. We're going to announce another really big partner that has been away from the city for a number of years in a couple of weeks. But that's the Boys and Girls Clubs. And they're coming back to help with programming, both virtual program, as well as getting our youth center open so that parents will have some alternatives as they have had their children home on these 3 days during the school year and then all the time since the COVID emergency hit. that we will be able to offer them some activities, some enrichment, some tutoring during the Youth Recreation Center on the days when they're not in class and working actually on site at their particular school. So we're doing that, we're announcing that. There's some other partnerships we have to support our Youth Recreation Center, such as Cranbrook Institute of Science has been a partner, doing STEM programming. Of course, we have all the things the kids love to do in terms of sports and athletics. So we're beginning to derive the plan by which we can bring that back into full force, of course, with the limited capacity and with all the rules involved in taking care of our children safely from the executive orders. So we are going to, we're now phasing in and beginning to work on the plans for reopening that Pontiac Youth and Recreation Center.
Mayor Waterman, just another couple minutes with you. Anything else that you would like to touch on today, or any other important information that the people of Pontiac should know about the city going forward?
Yes, we're getting out a lot of information to our public in terms of the changing paradigm, because so much is changing so quickly. The most important thing, of course, is the health and safety and welfare. It's our primary concern for our residents. And so there's a lot of things going on in this regard. For example, we are still moving ahead with a lot of the recreational activities and have gotten some grants, or hope to get some grants to move that forward. One of the things that is of recreational importance is that Clinton River Trail, a good part of which runs right through Pontiac. So we're looking to partner with the group that is looking for a grant to restore the Clinton River Trail through Pontiac and make it more beautiful. We're doing that. We're also introducing to our parks, Hawthorne Park first, a recreational activity that doesn't depend upon social distancing, and that's disc golf. I know there's a lot of disc golf fans out there. So we're doing that at one park and hope to do it at others as we come along. So those are the kinds of things that we're offering as alternatives for people who aren't traveling as much maybe as they used to be, but who find in their own backyard ways to enjoy their community, still be safe, because we are dependent upon that for all of our safety. We want people to make sure they're following the social distancing, the hand washing, all those tried and true things that mitigate this disease, because we still need to control those numbers so that as we go back to our businesses, as we go back to our schools, as we go back to our churches, that we are doing it that way that's safe and secure and brings that curve down and keeps people healthy. And that's important, and not spreading the disease. So those are the kinds of things you asked about: hiring and jobs. And yes, Amazon is hiring, as well as some others. We're going to have a job fair pretty soon for our residents. Amazon has a number of positions that we have posted, and in addition to drivers, are hiring other kinds of employees. So they're looking to do that for Pontiac residents as well as others right here. As I said, we're going to have a job fair. We'll announce that for some of the other major businesses in Pontiac that are also hiring. Right now, we have 38 new building projects for people who are either coming to Pontiac or expanding. So we've got quite a bit of a flurry of activity for that. So we'll be making those announcements as time comes on the summer. We're also going to have something in terms of looking at what Pontiac is doing to have a voice in this whole conversation that's going on, not only for police reform, but for social justice. And there are a couple groups who have been working on that. I have decided what we're going to do in Pontiac is there's a term, Pontiac United, and so I'm going to have a Pontiac Unity in the Community Day so that we can bring together the spirit that we have for safety, but for also having a voice in the things that we need to have, and to have respect one another in the community for social justice. So we want all voices to be heard. We want to collaborate with so many people who have stepped up in this COVID-19, but also for all the ways that Pontiac is progressing and so many other fronts, particularly economic development, and particularly supporting people who, individuals as well, who need relief aid. Unemployment runs out at the end of this month, so we did announce the program through CDBG, in which we had monies that we're going to be using to distribute to people who need mortgage assistance, rental assistance, or utility payment assistance. There are HUD rules and guidelines for that. but we have a health desk right here in City Hall, and people can reach that if they're interested in getting an application or getting help with filling out their applications. And that number is the hotline number 248-758-3300 or 248-758-3050. 248-758-3050. So we want to make sure people know that this money is available to them for people who have been struggling to keep the bills paid. But mortgage, rental, and utility payment assistance, we have those applications. Oakland County is administering that, but we are a help desk here to support people and if they don't qualify for that, then we can refer them to other sources of aid. So that's happening right here at the City of Pontiac. My executive staff workers have been trained to assist people to make the copies if they need copies, but we want that money to be available to them, and we're here to help them to get that because there's so many people out there now who are just trying to get back into their normal modes, maybe getting back to their jobs or haven't even gotten back to their businesses yet. So we want to help and support them because we're all in this together.
Yes, we are, Mayor. Yes, we are, Mayor Waterman. We thank you very much for all that information. So much exciting things going on in the city of Pontiac, and the city is keeping very active to help its residents out. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Appreciate that, Lawrence.
We appreciate it. Mayor Deirdre Waterman of the city of Pontiac with us on the Oakland County MegaCast.